Welcome back to Trucking and Politics, folks. I wanted to bring you this story. My wife bought me new bed sheets. No, that's not the news story. The news story is about Marten Transportation. If you guys do any kind of stocks like I do, and you follow any type of stock market news, then you will know that this is earnings season right now. First quarter earnings season, which usually is bad for trucking. The period from, say, mid November all the way until March, April, somewhere around there, sometimes May. Uh, it's long been a really slow period for trucking. So take that into consideration here with this story. But there's something else going on here. And I'll discuss it a little bit more. I'm going to put some driving video in here so you won't get just bored looking at me. Not that that would ever happen, right? So, anyway, this article is from Stock Titan. Marten Transportation earnings plunge. Net income drops 55% amid freight market downturn. For you guys that are driving, I'm going to put the article up here on the screen, but I'll read it to you guys that are driving, that are wanting to just listen to this. Marten Transportation, stock symbol MRTN, reported a significant decline in financial performance for quarter one 2025. Net income dropped to 4.3 million, which equals out to 0.5%, 5 cents per diluted share, from 9.6 million, 12 cents per diluted share in quarter one of 2024. So that's what I was saying. There's a little bit more to the story than just being this time of the year. They're falling majorly bad from this quarter, from the quarter one of 2024 till now. So, I mean, they were down last quarter. And, in 2024, it was a downturn for everyone, but they're even more down, this year. Operating revenue decreased to 223.2 million from 249.7 million year over year. So that's their entire year, 2024, 2025. Well, it would be actually 2023 and 2024, but we're just starting out 2025. So the company's operating income fell to 5.9 million from 12.3 million in quarter one of 2024, while revenue increased to 97.4% from 95.1%. Fuel surcharge revenue decreased to 27.4 million from 33.9 million. So their fuel surcharge revenue decreased, so that means they were hauling less freight. They weren't getting as much fuel surcharge money. The company attributes these challenges to an extended freight market recession characterized by oversupply and weak demand, along with inflationary operating costs and freight rate reductions and freight rate reductions. Despite these challenges, Marten's dedicated and brokerage operations showed resilience, and the company was recently certified as a TCA Elite Fleet 2025 Best Places to Drive. Wow, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, let's drive for a company that's going down in flames, right? So, anyway, I found something else here about Marten. Not to stick a dagger in their wound while they're down here, but some stuff here that you know they don't really advertise. I don't guess they don't really put out there for most people to see. They had a data breach settlement. Marten Transportation agreed to pay $520,000 to settle a class action lawsuit related to a 2021 data breach that exposed the private information of 35,000 current and former employees and job applicants. Well, that's great. Somebody broke into their data pool and stole all this information, so they didn't keep all of their driver and employee information that private, did they? Also, a lawsuit was filed against Marten Transportation, claiming that the company failed to pay minimum wage and compensate truck drivers for every hour worked, including during mandatory layoff periods, according to classaction.org. That I don't really go along with myself. We know what we're getting into when we're truck drivers. You don't get paid for every hour. I mean, geez, come on. We agree to get paid by the mile. We agreed to get paid overtime, and I mean, is it enough? I don't know. I've got a video coming up about that. Do truck drivers get paid enough? And it might surprise you what my video is about on that. But getting paid for every hour worked, I don't think we should go there. As truckers, in my opinion, I don't think it is a per hour wage job. That's my opinion. Now, if you're doing local and you're working 8 to 5 or 14-hour shifts or whatever, that's different. But us as over the road truck drivers, regional drivers, stuff like that, no, I don't agree with it. But that's my opinion. Federal court ordered Marten Transportation to pay a former driver, Cedric Sinkfield, $51,000 in back pay and punitive damages after he was fired for refusing to haul an overweight load. Well, that sounds like a dispatch issue over there at Marten. I don't think that would be the company as a whole. I don't think really any company would try to force a driver to pull oversized loads. That sounds like a dispatcher that was in a bad mood on a certain day to me. But then again, I don't know. And here's something that I brought up about the last video I did about Marten Transportation. The mother of a high school student killed in an accident with an 18-wheeler driver by Marten Transportation by a Marten Transport driver filed a lawsuit against the company alleging a reckless safety culture. Now, I'm kind of mixed on this thing about Marten myself, because if this is the story that I'm thinking about, that particular driver for Marten was found intoxicated. He ran off of the road, overcompensated, turned the truck over, and crashed onto a vehicle that had a 14-year-old boy in the back seat, and it crushed him, and unfortunately the 14-year-old boy died. That happened in Arkansas, is how I knew about that story. I read it on the news, and since I'm from Arkansas, that's a one-off thing. I mean, that's not Marten as a whole. I'm kind of validating Marten here in part because, I'm not expecting to kick them while they're down. What I'm trying to figure out is why the such huge decline in revenue. To me, something has happened. You don't just all of a sudden have a 55% decline in revenue. You don't. I mean, you're just cruising along, operating as normal, and then all of a sudden, bam, you turn in a quarter where you're 55% down in revenue. That doesn't just happen. Something caused that. And I know, being from Arkansas, Marten does a lot of perishable and refrigerated loads from DC to store for Walmart. And with all of this stuff going on with the wrecks, the lawsuits, and everything, it sounds like Marten may be having a bit of a management issue here, and Walmart and Marten may be, cutting ties here. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard anything about that. Unless somebody has heard anything about that, you can comment on it if you want to. But that would explain it right there. Walmart said, "We've had enough of your crap, Marten. Enough is enough. We'll find somebody else to do it. Straighten up, ship up, shape up, or ship out." I mean, that would definitely explain it. Now, is that what's going on? I don't know. I don't have any corporate insight on that. The only way I guess you would know is to go by DC, and count how many Marten trucks are coming in and out of Walmart DCs. I think they deliver that stuff on third shift. So, seeing it during the day might not happen, but at night, then again, the last thing I'm going to put up here is their crash report for from SaferWeb, and it shows their crashes. The way I like to read these on SaferWeb is to read from right to left. We usually read from left to right when we read something, but you read this backwards, it makes more sense. They have had, and this is the last 24 months prior to 4/19 of 2025, they have had 243 total crashes. 162 of them required a tow. 74 resulted in injuries, and 7 fatalities. Now, this does not mean that every single one of these accidents was Marten Transportation's fault. They were probably, more than likely, not at fault in all of the accidents. They might have been driving down the road and someone rear-ended one of their trailers. So how could that be, their fault? But 7 fatalities, that's a little high. That's a little high. You know, not as high as FedEx and UPS. I mean, they're up there in outer space with their fatality rate, but Marten is, I don't know how many drivers they have. It said in that other article the information of 35,000 current and former employees and job applicants was exposed in that data breach, but that's like everybody. You know, that's not just drivers. I think probably their driver. Well, let's just look it up. Let me have a second here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Pull up Marten Transportation Safer Web and see how many drivers are stated that they have. My internet, of course, is 0 bars. 10 minutes later, we will find out here. There it is. That shows that they have 3,697 power units and 3,070 drivers. So right around 3,000, 3,100 drivers. And out of those, they've had 7 fatalities in the last 24 months. You can do the math on that. That's a pretty high percentage. That's up there. So Marten is either not hiring very qualified drivers, which is probably true. More than likely, that's true. And, you know, the other thing is they're pushing them. You know, I know with this Walmart freight running it on third shift, you got to go, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry. Walmart needs the product. You know, you got people working on third shift stocking the stuff. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I know there was a load of cheese on a Marten trailer that flipped over in Arkansas and destroyed the whole load of cheese down there. I think that was a fatality accident as well. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you this story about Marten Transportation because it's not looking good for them, for one. I mean, really, we can look. Oh, and I can put the stock chart up here for you as well. You can look at that, their stock chart. They've been going down for, you know, this is a 2-year stock chart, and they have been going straight down for 2 full years. And this is just another sign of their demise. So if you know anyone that works for Marten, if you drive for Marten, if you have any affiliation with Marten, you might want to check your alternatives, because who knows what's going to happen with them. 55% decline in revenue is a major story. Major. That doesn't happen every day. So anyway, I'm going to edit this video and put it out. And you guys, as always, take care of yourself. Look out for each other. Be good to yourself, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. And by the way, hit that subscribe button. We are this close away from 3,000 subscribers, dadgummit. We need to get over that hump and get on board and, you know, push this channel through the roof and get that 3,000 subscribers and to infinity and beyond, as someone said one time. Take care of yourself. Thanks for watching.